ever since I started doing this channel, I've been, at least felt like I was on a hamster wheel. Meaning you're always looking for news, you're always looking for content, you're always looking for stuff that you can use for the show itself. Things that you find interesting, but also things that you think other people will find interesting. And it's a bonus if you can find an intersection between those 2 points. So I don't get the opportunity to watch many other shows. But the few that I do have, I like a lot. Teak History is one of them. The Great War is definitely one of them. It's probably one of my favorites. There's another one dealing with the intervening time between World War I and World War II that's also really good. That's done by the same people for the Great War. But for news, one of my favorites, at least that's on YouTube, is Real News Network. I have to watch or read articles from across the spectrum. But one of the places that I actually really like a lot, I like the perspectives often, is Real News Network. Paul J is a newsman's newsman. And I met him once. He gave me a t-shirt, so thank you for the t-shirt. You've seen me wear the t-shirt sometimes. But because he comes across as a newsman's newsman, he's somewhat trustworthy to me. And his perspectives, in many respects, mirror my own. I think I've done 1 or 2 videos where I've disagreed with him, but for the most part, I've liked his take on things. Somebody else who quickly came up in the ranks for me is Aaron Matei. Buzzsaw, as I like to call him. And I call him Buzzsaw because in interviews, his research is on point. He has been brutal in dispatching people, whether it was Ryzen or whether it was the British cat, I can't think of his name, that writes all of these hit pieces on Assange. The guy who wrote the book on collusion and ends up leaving in a huff when Aaron Matei essentially eviscerated him in that interview. I call him Buzzsaw for a reason. When he's on Twitter and people are pushing, like whitewashing the Obama's role in the Yemen war, there was another one that was awesome. There's another one recently where he's going after an article that was in The Intercept that lavishes this kind of weird, justification for targeted killings by Israel and by the United States. Buzzsaw has quickly become one of my favorite people. I've said before that when Aaron Matei is on the prowl, be it on Real News Network or if he's on Twitter and you're crossing the street, avert your eyes. He's an animal. Don't look him in the eye and cross the street slowly because he will attack. He will eat you alive. There's sad news about Aaron Matei. At least I think it's sad news from my perspective. I don't know what's next, but he's apparently leaving Real News Network. Some real news, I've left the Real News Network. It was the most rewarding work experiences I've had to date, and I'll miss my talented, funny, and hardworking colleagues a lot. A big thanks to them and also to all the viewers who have written encouraging comments and shared my segments. The positive feedback was deeply appreciated. I love hosting and interviewing and will continue it along with other exciting projects ahead. Aaron Matei left the Real News Network. That hurts for some reason. I like when I first started watching Real News, the only person I really liked was Paul J. And Aaron Matei has easily become one of my favorite people to watch on that network. It will be extraordinarily sad to see him go. It would be extraordinarily sad to miss those interviews where he's eating people alive. I guess I would have to satisfy myself by watching him on Twitter, but that's not really the same thing. And seeing the smirk that takes over his face when he knows that he's gotten somebody against the wall, he's about to rip their throat out. If you look at the video where he's arguing collusion, there's a point in the interview where Aaron Matei asked the guy a question because the guy made a absurd argument in the book that he wrote. And he gets this crooked smile where it's like, oh, like what's going on in the person. It's an unintended reaction to, I got him. I know that smile because when I play chess and when I have somebody against the wall and I'm about to rip their throat out, I get that same sort of grin on my face. But this is in the debate stage, which is somewhat similar. The setup where you know that the person is going to answer and you know that the person doesn't have a legitimate answer. And that person also gets flustered because they don't have a legitimate answer. I am going to miss watching that. I'm going to have to miss watching that. When he's on Twitter and he's eating somebody alive, I'm just going to have to imagine in my head he has a smirk on his face as he's eating them alive. But there's not much on this bone. I've asked him to come on to the show to explain why he's leaving. But I don't know. Lauren Powers, Aaron Matei has been a favorite of mine. Buzzsaw is a bit overkill because he's a real gentleman. Oh, come on. I'm talking about when you're on the debate stage. You can be the nicest person in the world when you're just interacting with somebody, but the moment that you get in the debate stage is, fight, punching Judy dolls. Was he sacked or did he quit? I don't know. The only thing I know is that he's left Real News Network. I've invited him on the show. I sent him a tweet myself. I responded to him talking about Buzzsaw, the name itself, because I'm the one who started that, so go started me. Somebody says, good luck, Buzzsaw, Septimus Prime. Thank you, looks like the nickname is sticking. I'm cool with it. I'm glad you're cool with it because it's a compliment. It's an extreme compliment. You can thank Jamarl Thomas for that. Yes, you can thank Jamarl Thomas, and you can thank Jamarl Thomas by coming on his show. I love to talk to you on my show for about 10 minutes. What your plans and your reason for leaving Real News? I've appreciated you on that show, and it'd be sad to see you leave. My channel is Jamarl Thomas on YouTube, Kicking Ass Buzzsaw. I gave that nickname due to eating people alive in debates. As somebody who fancies himself, apparently I end up debating often. I can respect the hell out of somebody who can hold his own. And he does so magnificently well, with style, grace, and knowledge. I am going to miss that. So, shout out to Aaron Buzzsaw Matei. You are more than welcome to come on this show anytime, and I extend a heartfelt invitation for about a 10-minute conversation on why you're leaving the Real News, your plans after leaving Real News, and even the Russia stuff. Because I would be interested to hear him talk outside of the debate thing about what he thinks about the Russia stuff and where he thinks this is going. So, good job, Buzzsaw. Sorry to see you leave, man. All right, I'll end this here. I don't want this one to be too long. If you enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support the content through PayPal or Patreon. My wife likes to say even $1 helps, and I agree with her. Even $1 helps. It keeps this show ticking along. So, all right, guys. Thanks all. And fingers crossed on whether or not he comes on. I hope he does. Thanks.